name's Charles Simones. I'm with Windward Consulting. Here with a few of our friends here. I want to introduce Jim Stepak. He's a senior director at EchoStar, and one of our customers we've been working with. It's one big thing about today is it's Jim's birthday. So everybody, happy birthday to Jim. Also have with us David Harmon. He's one of our senior architects. So I really appreciate you guys taking the time with us today. Really, Windward's been working in the ITSM space and service reliability space for a little over 26 years, but we got started working with Jim, about a year and a half ago almost, 2 years at this point. Yeah. So Jim's going to share a little bit about his organization, and we're going to walk through that journey with you a little bit. Jim?
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Tell you a little bit about EchoStar. We were the parent company of Dish Network. So Dish is, we were combined with Dish. We split from Dish. I was part of an acquisition of Sling Media. We also divested Sling back to EchoStar. More recently, maybe like 9 years ago, we acquired HughesNet. You may have heard HughesNet. So really, that's the majority of our company. We're based in Inglewood, Colorado. HughesNet is in Maryland, so we're kind of all over. We're just approaching a $2 billion revenue company. Dish is about $17 billion, and I've been there quite a bit. And through Windward, we started our ServiceNow journey.
All right, Jim. Thanks for that. So on that journey, another thing with Jim, like earlier this quarter, he successfully had his first go live. So another round of congratulations for Jim. So he's the man of the day. So one of the things that was interesting as we were talking about our relationship starting, EchoStar was kind of looking for what's next. They were existing Sharewell customer, but they were looking for what was available on the market. Jim's coverage was really for the internal IT department, but there's many other divisions within the organization that were interested in trying to advance and move, transform the organization. So Jim got the start there. Anyway, we worked with that assessment that was, about a year and a half ago, about. One of the interesting things that we found there is, it's looking at what Jim's, portfolio of options that were there. Just the flat replacement for, Sharewell was about apples to apples, right? For what you were working with on IT, right? But it was really all the rest of what ServiceNow brings to the table with the CMDB and ITOM and asset management and all the other components that really drove that difference to make that decision for them. Anything else you want to talk about that?
One of the things that I was talking to a lot of people these past few days. Again, this is my first ServiceNow event. We've been live only 3 months with ITSM. One of the gentlemen in the keynote said, don't just get ready, get started. And I think it took us 2 years of getting ready. And with Windward's help, we got started. And I think with our ITSM platform, Sharewell, I don't know if anybody else has been on Sharewell. I've talked to some people that are familiar with it. Sharewell was acquired by Avante. So Avante really is going to move their customers off of Sharewell onto Avante. So we had the opportunity to move off anyway. So we decided on ServiceNow. And I think what it gave us a platform to start. And right now, Sharewell was a good ticketing system, but as you all know, ServiceNow is much bigger than a ticketing system. And we're going through some 3-month growing pains. And from this event, I can't wait to go back and start a lot of the more capabilities and features that ServiceNow has to offer.
Jim, maybe you can talk a little bit about that, roadmap, your journey that you guys are looking for and moving to.
Yeah. Like I said, the first one is just to stabilize our ticketing system. We've done that. We want to go more on the AI portion of what we have. We are looking at ITOM and discovery and CMDB capabilities and asset management, what we have. We really want to partner the SAM and the HAM and all the ITOM features and functionality that they have. Windward has been able to give us a good 5-year roadmap of all that. One of the things, and we're a rather small company compared to our sister company, Dish. Virtual agents is going to be really big, really huge for us. It'll decrease the amount of personnel, a lot of the service desk people that are needed. We want to have self-help, use the knowledge management piece that ServiceNow has. Also, mobility is key, and I think part of that 5-year roadmap that Windward provided, that we now have a 5-year roadmap as opposed to simply answer a ticket.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think one of the things that you were talking about is that Teams integration was a focus of yours going into that.
Yeah.
Maybe why was that so important to you guys?
We have Teams, and Teams are a way to chat. So I think if we can have that seamless integration between Teams and ServiceNow ticketing, I think it just saves a lot of time, a lot of analysis time. Everybody's on Teams anyway. And if we can turn that into a serviceable ticket, it just saves a lot of time, a lot of manpower.
All right. Thanks, Jim. I appreciate that. Just about a little bit about Windward. We've been in business a little over 26 years. We are a ServiceNow Elite partner. One of the things that we really drive it, and our focus has been in that operations management space. So, the way we view the world is, really to succeed that digital transformation, organizations really need to work on that innovation, but they also need to be focused on service reliability. As you can innovate as long as you like, but those services need to be up and available and functioning. So, it's really at the core of what we believe our competencies are and can deliver to the marketplace. As we look at those 3 areas of focus, service management being one, operations management, I would say that's really where our core is and has been for the last 26 years. We were building NOCs for UUNet and WorldCom back in the day, and SOCs as well. So, our experience really is deep in that operations management space. The other interesting thing is that, while we are an elite ServiceNow partner, we also do work with a lot of the other vendors that are in the monitoring event management space, be it, Big Panda or IBM and Splunk and all the others. So if it's, SIEM focused or operations focused, it needs to be monitored or measured. We've got engineers that work through that. We're additionally Dynatrace partner, and we're focused a lot in an SRE and that movement toward SRE that we're seeing across our organizations. That's one of the things Dave's going to talk about here in a few minutes. But as we look at that for those core competencies, we kind of have within those practice areas that we support, solutions that support that. We are a 100% services-based company, so we're consultants trying to help you guys deploy and get the maximum value out of the platform. I think the biggest difference for us is that we're trying to build an end-to-end solution using the tools that you have available and the platforms that you have available at the table today. So, if you have an existing event management platform like NetCool or some of the other ones that are old, we know how to integrate them and make it all work at the end, which you may not get from some of the other partners that are just focused within the ServiceNow community. As that overlays, kind of the modules within ServiceNow that we support, you can see, ITAM, Discovery and CMDB are huge for us in that ITOM space, and we did another demonstration yesterday afternoon that you may find as you go back and look through the different events that we talked through, CSDM and into those areas. So, but one of the things I had mentioned earlier, as Windward's been seeing within our community, is that a lot of our customers are trying to make that transition into SRE and observability. Whether you're using Dynatrace or any of the other application performance management solutions that are out there, trying to manage SLIs and then align that with what you have in the SRO module within ServiceNow, we found and seen there are a few gaps there. So if we think about it from an enterprise perspective, it's fairly easy inside of those individual tools, be it Dynatrace or Splunk, to define what those SLIs might be. But then as you move and try to implement the SRO module within ServiceNow, how do I keep those SLIs and SLOs aligned to each other so that I can deploy a single SLI function across my whole organization, so my application teams are using them similarly, and we work through to build a solution. I'm going to hand it over to the smart guy in the room and let him take it from here. So, Dave, can you maybe walk us through our solution there?
Yeah, sure. So thank you, Charles. Unfortunately, you spoiled half my talking points already.
I'm sorry.
So my name's David Harmon. I've been with Windward for 12 years. I've been doing operations management for 20 years across multiple different tool sets and platforms. So what we brought this week for our demonstration that we've been showing over at our booth is about doing SRE as code. We're seeing more and more people want to take the human effort out of driving the enablement of SRE. So people are spending more time working on the data that's coming out of their SLIs and SLOs versus having to build them and put them into the system. So the demonstration we brought and where we're seeing the marketplace go is defining your SLIs and your SLOs inside of your Git repos or whatever you're using for your code repository. Store it as configuration files, and then as you're doing your builds, and in this case we did it with Jenkins, you're pushing that to the platforms. So as Charles mentioned, we're a Dynatrace partner. I'm one of the people that do Dynatrace implementations for us. And we use the new Dynatrace product called Monaco, which is their monitoring as code module. So as part of that, we're enabling the DevOps teams to define their SLIs in their code repositories they have today, have it push to Dynatrace automatically. Part of our magic sauce that we added to this is reading those same configuration files with some additional enhancements and pushing that into the SRO module for ServiceNow. So we're not only defining the SLOs in Dynatrace, which are our SLIs that we need for ServiceNow, but we're also defining our SLIs and our SLOs within ServiceNow. And that's all being enabled through the through the Jenkins pipeline. So when someone runs their change or goes in and clicks build, it's all getting pushed to where it needs to go. And then for this, we really love Dynatrace. They're a great APM tool set for application performance management with their code level visibility. You can do it with other tool sets. That's just the one that we happen to be working with very, very closely right now. And then at the end of the day, that all needs to roll up to the management platform where people can make decisions on it and use it and work with the incidents that are created from it. So obviously that's going into ServiceNow. So all the data feeds into ServiceNow ITOM Event Management, and then from there, it feeds over to SRO through some magic of changing the events that are being fed in so we identify them correctly as SLIs that are being breached, and it's empowering the SRO module. From there, you're able to start looking at doing your entire lifecycle, automate your remediations, automate your notifications, tie into your change and incident management processes, tie into flows for remediation, et cetera. So we're definitely seeing this as a huge lifecycle where we're trying to bring everything together from one starting point versus having your DevOps team doing just their bit, your monitoring team doing just their bit, your orchestration guys doing just their bit, and your event management team. So thank you very much, Charles.
So on that, Dave, just a question or two. So you kind of talked through, events coming in, event streams. From a ServiceNow perspective, what modules do you integrate with? Is it at the event management layer or is it at the ticketing layer?
So we prefer to integrate into ITOM Event Management. If you have it, you get the most value by doing that. You can deduplicate, you can tie across items, you're doing your CI alignments. If you don't have ITOM Event Management, absolutely you should be doing your automation into ITSM and creating your incidents automatically. That's where a lot of people were 10 years ago, but most enterprises we're working with are starting the journey or have already gone down the journey of going directly into event management and making that their master event management system.
And you said the values of that were for deduplication. Just trying to get it aware. I'm just trying to make sure everybody's aware of why would I integrate there versus into a ticket.
Well, so you want to have a master event management system, regardless of what it is. We love ITOM Event Management. It's so tightly integrated with your CMDB, so you can do your CI alignments to both your technical assets as well as your application services. So your people that are working on resolution know what widget's broken, and the management knows what service isn't working right for your end users. And with ITOM Event Management and the built-in correlation capabilities, it lets you create less incidents for when things go wrong. Because we don't want to be the people that have 20 incidents in our buckets that we're trying to resolve that are all one problem. That's where we've all been. It's a lot of noise. It's hard to cut through. And so we're trying to simplify that through the ITOM Event Management deployments.
Thanks. Yeah, I was kind of thinking about that. If you, on the SRO module then, so ServiceNow, on the ServiceNow side, we're creating SLIs, is that right?
Yeah, so
Within the environment?
you define the SLIs and the SLOs within the SRO module in ServiceNow, but the actual feed that allows ServiceNow to count the breaches is being done through ITOM Event Management. So in this demonstration, if you come stop by our booth, we've done some magic with Dynatrace and we've done some custom event rules where the events that are coming in from Dynatrace that we know we want to be our SLIs, we're tagging them as SLIs. So they're being clearly identified within ITOM Event Management as SLIs, and then our filters within SRO are specifically looking at those.
Okay, so modules required on the ServiceNow side, event management and SRO, but SRO is not required. You can have that without event management, is that correct?
Correct.
Right, so you can
And
manage.
you can't forget your CMDB. None of this works without your CMDB.
Right, okay. Well, I appreciate that. So, certainly, as Dave was mentioning, we got a lot of detail inside of that. Maybe some of that went over or under heads.
Sorry,
Anyway.
I talk too much when I get excited.
But we do have a demo of this where you can view it at our booth 310. So if you'd like to go through not only seeing it, how it works at a fairly high level, but also digging into, David basically built a video that walks you through step by step, button click by button click. So, the rocket science that goes on behind it is also there. And we're more than happy to share and talk you through that so you can understand how that works. I think we're just about done, covered everything we wanted to cover. Does anybody have any questions?
Uh-oh.
Sorry, what kind of data is sent to ServiceNow, ITOM? Because from Dynatrace, we cannot send metrics, right?
So how we're
is it
doing...
an alert or?
Yeah, so how we've done this for
Good
this
question.
implementation is as part of the Monaco, we're defining an SLO within Dynatrace. So an SLO within Dynatrace is where you can take the known metrics, do some math on them, get them to a 0 to 100 value, and that builds a new metric within Dynatrace. And then we're creating a metric anomaly within Dynatrace, and we're adding some custom fields to it through the code that identify it as an SLI. So it creates an event in ITOM Event Management that has specific fields on it that say, hey, I'm an SLI, and I'm an SLI for this service. And then we have event management rules that transform it, bundle it up, and then move it over. The out-of-box event bridge will get your events in. They don't do the alignment. So that's where some of the extra customizations need to go in to get your SLIs to align correctly.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Any other questions? Well, thanks, David.
Thank you.
One
Thanks,
of the
Charles.
things that we had talked about originally as you probably came to attend was Sean McDermott, our CEO, speaking about the Fortune 1000 Leadership Playbook. Sean, unfortunately, could not attend the session today. We do have that playbook available online. It's at that QR code. I did not want to attempt to deliver Sean's playbook release, so we modified our content a little bit to this, but in addition to the playbook that you can download from Sean, Sean has a lot of content, Windward posts, we have blog posts going up almost monthly on ServiceNow, we've got podcasts that are going out that Sean and our Director of Delivery really in and around this SRE and observability space. So we talk with leaders in the field relative to the monitoring platforms, Dynatrace and all the others, that you can learn about what those technologies bring to the table just by listening to the podcast without having to do a lot of research. So it's kind of free information. So Sean's doing those on a regular basis as well. I thank you all for your time. I know it's precious, and have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for coming.